Hey, Central Louisiana. Thanks for tuning back into What's in Store. Once again, we're coming to you from American Delta Insurance. We're continuing our visit with Donna Villor. Today, we turn our attention to the subject of flood insurance. Now, Donna, if I live in an area that's not in a flood zone, why would I even want to think about flood insurance?
Well, that's where you're mistaken, because in Louisiana, well, actually all over our nation, everybody's in a flood zone. If you ask FEMA in the National Flood Insurance Program of FEMA, they'll tell you everybody's in a flood zone. Now the difference is, are you in a high hazard zone or a low hazard zone? So high hazard zones speak for itself. That's where you're going to be mandated by your mortgage company to purchase flood insurance, or your lender if you're a commercial property owner. Low hazard zones, it's up to the homeowner or the property owner themselves as to whether they purchase that flood insurance. It's optional, it's inexpensive, and it's highly recommended.
So if I'm in a situation where I'm not in a high-risk flood zone, flood insurance can be very economical for me.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I just renewed mine on my home, which is not in a high-hazard zone, and you can get the maximum limits available within the flood program for personally owned property, because it's different for commercial property. But anyway, it's $250,000 on the home and $100,000 on the contents. You have to purchase those coverage separately, but they're still on the same policy. And the premium's $450 a year.
So, when we see all of the flooding on TV, it's typically right on the banks of a river or it's along the shore. But the fact of the matter is, a large percentage of the time, it's not people in high-risk areas that are affected. You were telling me earlier some statistics on the flooding that occurred in Baton Rouge.
Right. A couple of years back, when Baton Rouge and Denham Springs experienced that horrific flood event, 57% of the homes flooded were in low-hazard zones, and many of those did not have insurance, and they were devastated. I mean, everything you've worked for and accumulated your whole life, it's your home, is gone. And then you have to wait for disaster assistance if you don't have it properly insured.
And of course, the flood insurance program is it federally funded, federally covered?
Yes.
But I should still go through an agent to try and get that set up.
Correct. What we do is we represent the government either through a write-your-own company, which is individual insurance companies that are contracted by the government to facilitate and service the flood insurance policies. We do that, so at claim time, your service provider is the insurance company that the government's contracted. But to answer your question, the government regulates it all. There's no difference in premium from one agent to another. It's all the same rate, and look into buying flood insurance now. There's a 30-day waiting period, and we're in the middle of hurricane season.